guys, welcome to another seat shop installation video. I'm Andrew and this is Brian. We're going to go through today on the 2007 to 2012 GMC Acadia. It also is the same for the 2008 to 2012 Buick Enclave. And the Acadia Denali, which started in 2010 to 2012, it's going to be the same patterns. I'll show you exactly how to do those installs. We also want to welcome everybody that's watching for the first time. Maybe you're kicking around making an order from us and you want to see how hard it is to do it yourself. That's why we do these videos. So we appreciate you guys watching that. We also appreciate you guys watching if you already bought the covers and you want to see how it's installed as well. Also, if you received this video from a competitor, real simple. Cancel that order, call us, 214-710-2565. Order one of my covers. That way when you watch our install video, it'll be the exact cover. You'll know how it goes on.
Some of the higher end models have the air-conditioned seats, the heated and cooled seats. You're going to have the perforated leather in the center of the seats that allows the air to blow through, and there's some different foam that's used underneath the cover, so the air can blow through, all the way through, through the leather and everything. So, but other than that, the stitch design looks the same. Just a couple different variances on if it's got perforation, a couple different stitch seams depending on if it's perf or not. So we're going to go ahead and start pulling this apart. The first thing we're going to do is when you unbolt it from the truck, this is obviously is already out of the truck. Unlike most of the vehicles, the seats on the front two here, they don't bolt into the floor. There's going to be a little hook mechanism here that hooks into the front. There's going to be little bars in the front of the in the floorboard that the fronts hook into, and then the rear two actually bolt in. So slide your seat all the way forward. You can undo the rear two bolts, and that will loosen the seat up. So then it'll lift towards the back seat and then up, and then you can take it out of the truck. Now, an important thing you need to look at when you're unplugging the seat from the floor, there's a big mechanism on the front that needs to be undone properly so you don't mess it up. So there's this cable here. This is what runs to the floorboard. There's your power. So there's one big hub right here that houses all the cables. So there's a push button here, a little tab that pushes in, and then this whole mechanism will rock back and it'll kind of eject it out, kind of like an old school VCR, and that'll pull, that whole plug will come off. Then you have this other yellow connection here, which this should pull. Let's see, there's a button. This pulls out this white piece. Hold on a second. There we go. That white pulls out. Then you can push down on this little tab, and that'll come out. So basically, this pretty much anything yellow underneath of the frame is going to have to do with the airbag system. So there's always a secondary catch that keeps this thing from coming out, without being the intention of undoing it. So that little thing, just extra safety catch, that just pulls out, and then it gives you the clearance to pull that down. So when you're putting this back in, just line the plug in, push it in, and then push this tab all the way down. You'll hear it click, and that's when you know you got it locked in. So once you get them unbolted, undo your power, undo your airbag switch, you can pull the seat out of the truck. Some of the tools that we'll need, there's nothing too crazy with this seat. We just got a couple standard things, a couple flathead screwdrivers, a pair of snips here to cut some hog rings off with, a set of hog ring pliers. So the cover is held onto the foam with hog rings. The hog ring is just a big metal staple, basically, and the hog rings pliers have a little groove, they're a little channel that the hog ring will fit into, so when you crimp it, they'll bend into a triangle like that, so it holds it onto it. So you'll need a pair of these. If you don't have a set, we got them on sale, with your covers. They're cheap. They're like $6 for a set of pliers. You're definitely going to want that. Doing it with set of needle nose, you don't want to do it, believe me. We got a 10mm socket on our impact, any kind of 10, just regular socket or whatever, but you'll need a couple bolts, a couple nuts we'll need to pull off with the 10mm.
For the airbag?
For the airbag.
Yeah.
On the inside top of the
right.
seat frame, we'll have to pull the airbag off. We're going to start pulling this apart.
Yeah, and some of you guys want to know also, when do I need to replace my cover? What's a good time? Really, it's up to you guys. I'm kind of a freak about things. If I start to see a scratch or whatnot, I think it needs to be replaced. But if you can look at this cover, slide this so you can see it. It's starting to discolor, and that's a sure sign that your leather's starting to wear. It's when you exit the vehicle, you're sliding off on, and if you have jeans on or whatever you're going to wear, it start to be apparent on the leather. It'll become silky, kind of smooth compared to the other parts of the leather. It gives a good indication of it needing to be replaced. But then again, it's your truck, so take a look. If it starts to wear like this, it definitely could use a fresh set of seats. So So we'll start taking it apart. We're going to start with the plastic pieces first. I'm going to come around so I can show you guys how to pop it off. These pieces are held on, they just pop through the frame section right here. So you're just going to grab and pull. It's going to come directly off. You'll hear it pop. Don't think you're cracking anything. Just make sure you do it with a nice good tug. You're not going to break anything at all. This whole piece, you can tell it's separate right here, but it's really easy to take all off into one. So what we'll do is we'll take this section off first so I can show you guys how to pull it all off at the same time. You'll need a screwdriver here. If you guys can see, the electronic control section is an individual cutout. It's got a tab at the front, so you don't want to pry at the front because you'll break the tab. You want to pry at the back and then slide it out, and I'll show you guys how. Once again, it's going to pop because it's plastic on plastic. Don't think you're breaking it. Just ease it out. You don't want to scratch it and you don't want to break it. Once you get it pretty much out, you can use your hands, and then you'll see it slides forward and out. You got two electrical controls right here.
Just an overview too. You can see it on these tabs. So you got a tab here and here, there, and there, and there. So you got 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top, and they all push down. That's how they will, when they kind of push down in. So when you come back in, they snap into the frame. So as long as you know where all the anchor points are, this is probably your biggest span in between clips. Is probably a good place to kind of start prying from to pull it off. But that's why you can see how the clips are, where they're laid out underneath there when you're pulling it apart.
So now we just need to disconnect the 2 electric controls here. One of them's got a little tab at the back on the back section. Just do a flathead screwdriver, pry this down, pull directly out.
They always put the clip in the most convenient place to get to. So here's the tab, and that's going to lift up, but it's located closest to the plastic panel, so it's hardest to get to. But a little flathead, you can get in there, you can pull that off. But that's what you're pulling for, is that little tab on the top. Same thing on the front. There's going to be a little tab you can push down. It's also facing the plastic as well. Extra convenient. There we go. So now we can set the control panel to the side.
If you guys want to look real quick at that front clip, that's what goes in first. So you don't want to pry that off in the front because it'll snap. So it kind of goes into place first and then goes from the back side. So that's the clip you don't want to break on the front. So pry from the back side when you take this off. Once that's off, we're going to have Phillips head screws. They're going to be in the side. This unit was a little bit busted up, but there's going to be 2 Phillips heads on this side. So we're going to undo those real quick. Okay, once those 2 are off, you're going to go ahead and pull this again from the front and just kind of work your way through the sides. You pull from the back. Yep. Pop that loose. Everything is plastic on plastic, so it might feel like it's going to break, but it's not. Good yank. And one more. Okay. Showing that.
So here's the little clips for the hold for the front. So it's just a little metal spring kind of over the plastic tab. Those are ones that just pull straight off. And here's your 2 holes where the screw's threaded in. And then this one here, this is just one that just pulls out as well. So they all just yank. So just kind of got to know where to tug on it. You know where all the connections are. So with it off here, you can kind of see exactly where all the anchor points are. So when you're tugging it, you know what it looks like underneath it. So now that's that off, we'll just set it to the side.
Cool. Also going to lay it on its back so I can show you guys this next clip that needs to come off on the front. This is what holds on the piece that we just pulled off. It's a black piece that runs right across underneath the leather. There's 2 Phillips head screws on the sides of it, and this is the section. If you look right here, you can see where that piece that we just pulled off clips into. So we're going to pull both those Phillips heads off and remove this so we can access the leather itself.
Now the cover itself, when it's held onto the frame underneath, there's just a series of plastic clips sewn on each side of the cover that'll wrap around and anchor onto a part of the metal frame underneath. And all the different clips can be different depending on what the frame looks like and how it needs to hook onto them. So there can be some funky different shapes on different sizes, but on different sides of the cover, but they're going to be designed to hook onto the frame underneath. So we don't run any kind of generic clip. A lot of times we even have custom clips made to match the factory, so that it does hook on right, so you're not having to use self-tapping screws to get it to secure right, or if you don't have the right clips and you sit down on the seat and it compresses down, it lets a lot of tension off, and the clips will pop off a lot. So it's real important to have the correct clips underneath that are sewn to the cover that hook onto the frame so that it holds on there securely. When you sit on there, they don't come loose all the time.
For
If
sure.
they come loose, you got to take everything apart to hook it back on. So.
Okay, so before we start taking the clips apart, we're going to actually get to the back section of this, because the bottom cover does go straight through and mount to the frame in the back. So, hey guys, I'm going to show you how to take the back cover off the Acadia and the Enclave seats right now. A lot of people on different forums are talking about how it doesn't come off or it's tough without breaking it. It's a real simple way to do it. You just have to know exactly how. It actually anchors in down, and then there's two clips right here that push back into the seat. Those are the only two clips that you need to take out to get this to actually come off. So you need a screwdriver and just dig around right around this area until you hit the plastic part on the side. This is where your clip is. So you're going to push the screwdriver in. The way the clip undoes is it's spring loaded this way and it'll release straight out. So all you have to do is push this side on each side, and it's going to pop off. You'll hear the clip sometimes fall down, but that side's off. Same thing with this side. Feel around where the screwdriver is, go a little bit deeper to find that clip, and it pops straight off. Once that's done, come straight out, and you can access your clips and pull the one out that you lost right down here. And that'll go just like so, and it'll be ready to put back together when you're done. I'll set it aside for now.
All right, there's another panel. And usually if you're just doing the bottom, you don't have to take anything off the top, but this model actually requires to do that because there's a piece here that connects from here all the way down underneath the cover that we need to take off. So we're going to have to undo these connections here. There's just a little J-hook that kind of loops around over the top of the metal.
Yeah, so it's the carpeted section right here, and you'll have it on most of these vehicles.
It's usually a flathead. Typically don't want to try to do it with the fingers because all the metal edges underneath these frames are really freaking sharp, and it's really easy to cut the heck out of yourself.
And the bigger flathead, the easier. Just be careful when you're pulling upwards like that.
Yeah, these pieces will Velcro over the top. So whenever you're putting this back together and you didn't pay attention to where this, if it went up underneath and hooked on, or other, that'll go on, and these will Velcro over the top for that piece. That'll come off, and then there's two other clips underneath to get this complete panel off.
We'll turn this over so you can get a better look. So there's just a small bar that runs right here across the bottom of it, and that's what this connects to, and it also is where your cover connects to as well. So we're going to just release these two. They're kind of a pain, but we'll pop them off. Brian's stronger than I am, so I have to use a screwdriver.
Just push on here.
Oh, okay. There we go.
This part's not sharp. Everything else is, but
Cool.
that one's not. So.
Okay, if you see that, it gives you access to your rear clip on the bottom seat cover.
So we'll go ahead and slide in there. Got it.
It's going to be tight because you want the cover to fit tightly on there, so
There we go.
just pry it off. Once it's off, you're good to go.
And that'll feed through.
Now we can work on the front clips, which there's going to be one on each side in the front, and then there's two on the sides. So, Ryan, if you'll pull the side clip off, I'll knock this one off.
Yep.
These are usually something you could probably do by hand.
We've taken these on and off a couple times, so they're a little bit looser. So, but usually you can get in there with a flathead and
my
pull them
side's
off, or
tough.
if you can't pull it off by hand. Now this has got a real funky shape to it. You'll see this kind of pretty odd and how it hooks on. This kind of rolls down on and pushes into the frame. Just kind of pay attention to how the factory one, how it's hooked on there before you pull it off, because the new one's gonna be sewn the same way to clip back on, just like the original one it was.
Okay, the front clip, it's actually going to fold over itself and back up. So don't think that the clip's sewn on incorrectly, because it's not just supposed to connect. It folds over under the leather and back up into the clip to hold.
It's kind of a reverse, weird way of doing it. Can't really wrap your head around it because it seems completely backwards. And a lot of people think that the clip is sewn on backwards, but we'll show you here how it'll roll over. That just gives you the seamless waterfall, edge in the front, so you don't see when the clip is sewn on to the leather. You just see the leather roll all the way around underneath, and it's completely tucked up underneath. So
I'll show you real quick. If you look right here, Brian, show them how it actually
So
connects.
here's the clip right there. And so what this clip will hook onto this ledge here, there's all these little 3/4 inch tabs that are kicked in. So gives it a sharp edge on the underneath side, and the underneath side will catches on a groove that's inside of this clip, is what it hooks onto. So when this will go on here, and then it'll roll over. Oh, those things get caught up. Okay, so this will go here, and then it will roll over and then it'll push
back
into
up.
the frame. So it'll wrap all the way around it and clip underneath. So we'll show that real good detail when we're hooking it back on.
Yeah, so once those clips are off, the bottom cushion comes off and it's free. So you can take that. This installation video, as you guys know, it's going to be top and bottom. So if you're just doing the bottom, that's all you need to do to just get the bottom undone. We're going to keep moving forward, of course, to the top to show you that later. But let's show you real quick how the bottom does. There's a little strap underneath that folds over the foam. Pull that off and just kind of roll all your edges over.
Now these are hog ringed on, so you don't want to just take it and rip the cover off, because there's channels that are built into the foam cushion that's kind of like a metal bar that runs through it. And then the underneath side of the cover has got a fabric strip with a piece of plastic that's crimped to it. And that's what you're going to use to hog ring the cover to the bar that's built in the foam. So if you yank it right off, you're going to yank the bar out of the foam, which you don't want to do because you're going to have to re-anchor the new cover onto that bar. So we'll come in here with the snips, and we're going to cut all the hog rings off, the old one. Don't worry about, a lot of people think they've tried to bend the old ones off and reuse them. We'll send you a new set of, a new little baggie of hog rings, so you'll have new fresh rings to clip it back on with. So we'll cut those and get them out of the way. Make sure you clean up all the little shards, the halves and stuff that are still in there down the foam. You don't want them kind of working loose and eventually somehow poking you when you're sitting in the seat.
Yeah.
So kind of pull those out and get some needle nose if we can't get them, whatever. But we'll get those little fragments out of there.
Don't get frustrated with hog rings either. They're kind of a pain in the butt, but they are one of the best ways of holding your seat cushion to actual down. So it secures the channels and the seams real well, so it actually looks really good once it gets done.
You get the real good definition of the cover when it's on. Otherwise,
Sure.
you get the real baggy look, which is not good. Definitely not what you're going for. So
we're gonna have 3 hog rings on each side. We're gonna have nothing in the back, and if you fold the front over, we're gonna have 3 that run kind of a U-shaped around the front. So we want to make sure we've got all 9 of those cut off.
the edges of these hog ring strips or these little bars that are on the cover are pretty sharp. So just be careful. You can snag yourself on those, and it's not gonna be
Cut off.
edges of these hog ring strips or these little bars that are on the cover are pretty sharp, so just be careful. You can snag yourself on those, and it's not going to be fun when you scrape yourself on them.
Okay, well now we're at the point where we're going to actually put the cover hog ringed onto the foam. Now I'm going to show you guys also, I know you can't see it too well, but a little bit about our covers. We do cut everything digitally on a Gerber cutting table. For those who know what that is, everything's digitally cut, so it's spot on. Every single cover that we do is identical. We also use a 1/2 inch foam underneath all of our covers standard. There's no upgrades. We build it one way, which is the right way to do it from day one on all of our covers. So just to let everybody know what they're sitting on. Brian's going to show you how to hog ring this onto the bottom now.
Alright, so I'm going to I usually have it facing me, the front of the seat facing me. I'm going to hook on, first I'm going to hog ring the front strip first. This particular model, you can kind of go either way, but I like hooking the front one first. That way I can get my forward and back adjustment set just right. So I'm going to kind of visually look at where my hog ring strips are that run down the sides of the seats and make sure they're kind of equidistant from each other, so make sure I'm kind of in the middle.
And how many hog rings do we have on the bottom, Brian?
We got 3 here, 3 in the front. I think it's going to be 9 total,
Okay.
3 and 3 on each side.
Good deal.
So we're going to hook this front one first. So I'm going to take the hog ring in the pliers. I'm going to try to hook the front tooth of the hog ring onto this plastic bar. That way, when I get with it hooked on, I can push it down into the foam, so I can get it down around that bar that's inside of it. If you're trying to hold it here and then come around and try to crimp it, it's a little bit harder. So it's easier to hook it here, especially if you get real deep channels that these things hook into. So hook there, push in, crimp, and we'll just go all the way around.
He's going to get these set. So another cool thing about our shop, just so you know, the Seat Shop, if you guys want to go look online, it's theseatshop.com. You can also call us at any point at 214-710-2565. We see installation videos across the web, and they're all informative, and I look them up all day long too because it's fun to see what everybody else is doing. The cool part about the Seat Shop and what Brian's done right here, he is the owner. Not only is he doing the videos, but if you make a phone call, you're not going to talk to an actress who's not going to be there or an actor who's not going to be there. You're going to talk to Brian. You're going to talk to myself. We're going to be able to help you out anytime. So keep that in mind. As you watch our videos, this is who we are. This is what we do every day. So feel free to pick up the phone and call us. We'll walk you through step by step over the phone as well.
Yeah, if you're running into a problem when you're putting something on, chances are we've run into the same problem 100 times and we know how to fix it. Or we've been there and we can tell you exactly what to do. So we troubleshoot these things all the time because we tear them apart all the time and put them back together. So we've isn't too many things we hadn't come across inside these seats. So you can always give us a shout and we can more than happy to help you out. Yeah. Anything we can and answer any kind of questions you got or weird things going on with the truck. All right, let's keep it around here.
Side note, Brian Verhalen's getting married in a few months. Brian, congratulations. Taking the plunge.
Yes. Yes, sir. So it's like 50-something days left.
Yes.
Yep.
Countdown's on.
Yes. All right, like this on here. Okay, now we got the rings on.
Cool. So okay, it's all hot rings on.
Now we're going to wrap this cover around the foam. You don't want to just grab a corner and just kind of yank it over the side because you're going to get a lot more rippling and stuff throughout the cover. You want to, I line my fingers up along the double stitch seam here, and I'll anchor with my elbow on the cover, and I'll pull here, which I'm stretching it tight, so I'm pushing out on the cover to get it to wrap around the corner. And as I go down, my fingers will never come off the cover as it's going over, so I don't just kind of get it here and then pull it. You want to get the corner tight,
never lose
keep your fingers on it, and then wrap it around tight. It helps it just lay on there smoother. So when you get it on, when you put it onto the frame, it's just gonna help lay on there a little better, keep it from rippling up.
And Brian, you use a little bit of force here too. I mean, you're okay. It's not something. This leather. I mean, it's not gonna rip. The seams aren't gonna rip. You guys make sure you use a little bit of elbow grease and get that folded over hard so you have a nice smooth line on each side.
There we go. So now this one doesn't have a removable frame that comes off. You know, like the seat pan it sits on. So it's just sitting by itself, so it's not going to be completely tight until you get it onto the frame and wrapped around and clipped. So here's this back strap here. You can see there's a little indentation in the foam where this little strap's going to go in. That's there. Okay, we'll set this to the side.
Yeah, set the side, start the top.
We're going to pull the top. It's a little bit easier to get to the top with the bottom cushion and cover out of there so we can get to the clips and everything and pull it off. So
so if you're just doing the bottom, that's when you wrap it up, stick it back on the frame, get everything bolted back on. We'll show you that later. If you're doing the bottom and the top, start from here because like Brian said, you've got room to work within the frame to actually disconnect the top from itself. So we'll show you how to do the headrest first. We're going to pop that bad boy off.
All right, so we'll slip these things up here. Okay.
And this one, these little mounts are kind of a booger bear, but squeeze the sides.
Okay.
Pull the headrest right off. Set it aside.
Now these headrest knobs here can be kind of tricky. I'm going to pull one out here and show you. There's a little notch on the inside that you can get down with a flathead screwdriver to pry it in, and then the tubes will pull out. So we've kind of loosened these things up here. So I'm going to show you.
Take your time on this because you don't want to break them.
So there's a little piece of indents right here on the side that this thing will push in. Okay. So they could catch on the inside of the frame. So when these things slide down into the tube in the top, this thing catches when it's inside. Okay, so to get these off, when this is in, let's see. So if that's all the way down the end through the frame, okay, then you can come through with a flathead screwdriver. You can either come from underneath, do it both ways. Sometimes you can come from underneath, you can look with a little flashlight and see where that catch is. You can push in on it. You got to push in on that when someone pulls up on the top.
Yeah, definitely.
So at the same time. So
once it's pushed in, you'll have that notch. It'll free it up, and you just pull straight out.
And they usually don't just glide right out. So sometimes you have to push it in. You take your hammer and you can hit the stump on the underneath because this thing will about a ½ inch sticks out through the tubing in the frame. So if you got that thing pushed in real hard, you can take a hammer and tap the bottom of that to get them pulled up.
If you guys can see this one, I know it's kind of tough, but it is kind of mangled because we've had screwdrivers going in to get this thing released. You're not going to mess this up from the underneath side. Once these things are pressed down in there and solid, they're not going anywhere. The headrest isn't going anywhere.
See, if you break the push tab by smashing the hell out of the screwdriver, it really doesn't matter. When you set it back in there, they're not going to move anywhere. You got the headrest run through it. They're not going to go anywhere. So it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, so for the top cover, we've got clips that clip to the frame. We've got 1 on the top, 4 on the sides, and we've got 3 at the bottom. This thing's just like we did on the bottom. Take a regular screwdriver and pop them open. Don't hit your partner with a screwdriver. Just make a nice little pop open and it'll come off. Same thing with the sides all the way around. Doesn't matter how you do it or which direction. Just start and pop them loose. Some of them need a good little jolt. Careful with the underneath side of the frame, Brian, right? Because it's sharp. It is sharp.
Anything on the inside perimeter of this thing really sharp, so be careful if you're trying to grab it like I almost just did.
Have you cut yourself before, Brian?
Oh, 1,000 times. All right, perfect. So
once it's
get
loose,
those off.
The headrests,
Headrests are
possibly,
pulled out.
yeah, those are pulled out, so it's just going to kind of fold up and give us access to get to the hog rings on the front.
Now this seat is equipped with side impact airbags, okay? I'm going to show you how that works too. So there's an airbag that's fitted inside the seat. There's a sleeve on the underneath side of the cover that this airbag slides up into. Now we've pulled it out. It's out of the sleeve right now. We'll show you how it feeds back into the sleeve when we're putting another cover back on. But this airbag will come loose. There's two 10mm nuts on the inside of the frame that you undo. This airbag will come out. It'll slide up through the pocket that's sewn into the cover, and then it'll bolt back into the top there.
Cool.
So at the seat shop, we went through all the certification to sew the side impact airbag cover so the breakaways. So the special threads we got to run on the seams where the airbag is. So if the airbag is deployed, the cover will rip open properly, and so the airbag can deploy. So it was a long process getting all that done. We finally got all certified, so we're certified to sew the side impact airbag covers.
So you guys keep in mind when you're buying stuff online and buying stuff for your vehicles, if it does have a side impact airbag and you're putting a cover over your factory cover, it's kind of scary. You want to make sure that that airbag is going to release the right way if in fact you are in a collision. So our covers are set up that way, like Brian was saying, to where they're going to release the same way as the factory does, and everything's going to be safe for you. So keep that in mind when you're looking at different covers and different options.
There's some shops that just sew it up with regular thread and just hope for the best. But we don't do that. We spent the money, got certified, and proved that they blow out like they should.
All right, but so the top, we're going to disconnect it from the bottom. When we put the new top on, you're going to see that we're going to connect it from the top down. So it's just the opposite, taking it off. Same thing as before. A good pair of cutters, dikes. You're actually going to cut the hog rings off. Each individual one that cuts will give us a little more room to actually fold it up and take it off. We're going to start at the bottom. You've got, it's like 3 across the bottom, and it's a U-shaped. Okay, once those are done, it's going to give you a little bit of room. Now it's going to be on the sides. Now I've got, let's see, a few on the sides. We'll count them out for you guys so you know exactly how many we're working with here.
You want lights on the back, or can you get to them there?
I can get to them from here if you want. We're fine.
Okay.
So I've got 2 right there.
Make sure you pick up all your little hog ring clips that you cut off.
Yeah, if your wife steps on one of those, she's not going to be happy with you. I can promise you that. So we've got 3 on this side, we're going to have 3 on this side, we're going to have a few in the middle section as well. So just kind of fold and cut, and just kind of work your way up. Brian, where are you going for your honeymoon, bud?
We're going to go to New Zealand.
New Zealand?
So, yeah, it's pretty
You didn't tell me about this.
Go to New Zealand. So we're going to go to New Zealand for 2 weeks, the South Island. Check it out. Never been anywhere remotely close to New Zealand.
That's
it's
amazing.
A pretty short plane ride over, a couple hours.
How long is it?
Well, we're breaking it up in a couple days, but flight direct is probably 20-something hours.
Holy cow! No thanks.
I don't want to be on a plane for 20 hours
no,
in one
negative.
stretch, so we're going to break it up a little bit.
We got 3 hog rings at the top as well, so you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the top. You're going to be sick of hog rings when you're done with this, but that's okay.
All right, I'm going to show you where the airbag, there's the 2 nuts on the back side are. Need 10mm. I got this piece here with the flex deal with whatever the hell those things are
What's it called, Brad?
What are the joint things called? There we go. So we've got the bottom one off already, so that set that aside. That'll pull out. You're going to see there's 2 threaded stumps and then one little guide piece there that'll go through. There's just a hole in the frame that'll slide into.
Right. So this will go into the sleeve.
In the sleeve,
and then
on the cover, on the airbag sleeve that's on the cover, there's going to be little holes cut for these to come through. So make sure those go through the right holes and line up through there, and just run your nuts.
So leave this down for now, Brian. So we get to
leave it out. So when we put the new cover, we can slide it in.
Got it. Good deal.
All right, let's grab the next one. Grab the cover. All right.
Okay, now the best way to do this one is
Here's the cover. You can see the holes cut out for that.
So this one we're not going to put on backwards. We're going to kind of flip it forward into the right position and start with the top. You really want to get it set right on these Mickey Mouse ears. You want to make sure that it's pulled down really, really tight before you start hog ringing the front. That way there's not a bunch of excess slack up top. And that'll allow you to be able to use all the hog rings all the way down so you're not slacking or you're not missing any of them at the bottom. So I'm going to turn it around and show you guys. Brian, usually helps to have 2 hands here too. So we're going to get it locked in over and really, really, really concentrate on getting this pulled down tight. Okay.
I'm gonna
Once
go
you've
hook
got
that
those
back
two
clip.
tight, yeah, and you can go ahead and hook that back clip just to keep that back on tight, and you can feel it. Just make sure there's no room from underneath. Once that's done, fold back up. We're going to go backwards as we did as we cut with the new hog rings. We're going to start at the top, work our way down each individual side, going back and forth so it works down and gets tight all the way
Let's set our
around.
bag in there first before we get it too far down.
Yeah, Brian, show them how to do
So,
that.
all right, so we're gonna pull this up. This is going to, so there's a sleeve at the bottom, just opens up at the bottom, and this canister is gonna slide up into the seat. So you want to face, you can see the holes that are here. We need to kind of get it faced the right way.
Okay.
These things can be kind of a pain to get up in there. We're just gonna kind of patiently work it.
Once
the way
again,
up
for all you
into it.
independent guys, grab a friend, get your wife, girlfriend. There's only a few parts that really need two hands. This would be one of them. That way you can get this sleeve up in there and get those bolt holes where you need them.
Okay, let's see. Get it close to. Okay, I got the top bolt to the bottom hole right now, so I need to go up 4 inches.
Just come up.
Yeah. Almost. One more hole. Okay.
So what we're doing is I'm working the bottom up as he actually tries to find the holes and gets the stud sticking out so we can have it attached to the frame. At least we think that's what we're doing.
We're real close. I got the top one in. Wait, just loop the bottom too.
Okay.
Boom.
You want me to push up anymore? Or are you good?
Just hold it right where you're at. Okay, so there's 2 layers in this pocket. So you got one layer of holes and then the second layer too. So these will lay over it. And once the first one's wrong, the bag's not going to move.
Right. Tell them what reasoning we have. I mean, what is this? What is this purpose? What is the reason it's sticking up like here? I mean, it's just a sleeve right here. Why is it done?
You talking about the airbag sleeve or the
Yeah, the
total
airbag
cover?
sleeve. The airbag sleeve. Like
So basically, if the airbag blows, deploys, it's going to rip this seam. The seam's going to rip apart, and so this airbag material that's sewn onto the cover is sewn on each side of the seam. So when the airbag blows, because this sleeve is sewn completely around and encompassing the airbag canister, the weakest point is going to be at that stitch seam that has the breakaway thread, so it rips open easy. So when that thing blows up, the airbag material that is used to sew the flap that's sewn to the cover, it contains that, and it basically rips at the weakest point, which is going to be the seam, which blows the airbag out in the direction it needs to go, which way it's designed to.
So that way it doesn't blow backwards or forward. It's going to blow it directly out to the side, like
holds,
side
holds the
airbag.
canister in tight so that it forces it to push all the pressure at that seam, so it blows open and the airbag blows out the side of the seat where it's supposed to go.
There you go.
All right, so now we'll feed this back into the frame, and we'll put the screws back in it.
Need some help on this? I'm going to grab some water while you do that. Huh? How about
There
that?
we go. What's that, 10 millimeter? There we go. Okay, I'm going to throw that back on. Okay.
Good.
All right, now we can go roll the rest of the cover.
Cool. So you can either lay it on its back or you can keep it upright, however you want to do it. It's no big deal. I usually like to keep it up. That way I can continue to pull down as I'm installing my hog ring. So it's good to alternate sides on this because you don't want to put all these in and then get it real tight and not be able to get up to the top of this side. So we're going to fold up and we're going to hit the top. Okay. Remember to pull down first. And like Brian said, you want to connect this hog ring onto the channel first so it gives you a little bit of room to pull down. I know it's kind of tough to see, but once it's locked in, you can push it on, connect your hog.
back so we can get let's see if we can get a shot on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go.
All right, good deal. Be a good shot for you guys so you can see. You want to lock it in on the channel and see how I'm pulling on it. It's able to actually move. That's what you want to get. Push down, grab that lower bar, and connect.
Okay. All right, the one last one on this
Yep.
inside.
You have 3 on the top. Push down. Grip tight.
Perfect. All right, that's it. Nice. Then we'll start working our way down.
Start at the top and work your way down. I'll do my top one, then I'll switch over to your side so we can work down
Okay.
the same way. Okay. Same thing here, guys. Get the channel locked in. Get down in there. Grab.
Nice. Looking good.
Okay.
Looking good.
Oh, hog rings, how I love thee. You got room over there for yours?
Yep.
Okay, good deal.
Let me see how high it goes.
Okay.
Where's your first anchor? Is it above the? Yeah,
That's right there. A little bit over.
Okay. Where is it? There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can.
Yep. There we go. Okay.
Alright, B, if you want to get that other, this one right here. You guys can see this has got the heating element right here. There's nothing around where the hog rings are all the way around. It's just in the center section. So don't worry about that. You can see the little black lines. That's going to be your heating element. Anything around it is fine. You can touch it. You can hog ring it. It's no big deal. As you can see, I'm just kind of playing with it right there. So no big deal. Make sure it stays intact so you can have heat in the winter. Okay, what we're doing is we're just alternating sides. That way we can keep it pulled down all the way so we can get a good firm fit. Oh, there we go. Didn't push down enough and missed it. It's gonna happen. Just cut it off, start over. All right, so we're equal on the sides right now? Okay, good deal. Okay. Just keep working your way down, guys. Give it a little bit of muscle to get it pushed down in there. Brian, you want to hit your side over there?
Yeah, we need to pull. Let's see if I can pull it down. It's supposed to be kind of slack at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to pull it down some. So I'm grabbing the hog ring bar and tugging on it so we can try to slide the lid down a little lower. Okay. I think it's tricky getting on the last. I got one actually. I got one more hog ring. I wanted to get it before the kern.
Good deal.
Alright. There we go.
Yep. Maybe settle that a little bit.
There's that one. Sweet, yeah. We can pull it and stretch it over. Sorry.
Once again, get your hog ring line connected, hooked onto here. Stretch it down as Brian's doing. It helps to have another hand to get in here and push the hog ring down. And you're almost there. Yep, got it. All right, perfect. Got one more in the center, and we've got them all connected. Now these are a bit of a pain because the way the seam pattern is, you want it to be extremely tight so it smooths out, looks like the factory. So take your time. If you mess up a few times on the hog rings, just cut them off, start over, just like we talked about. It's no big deal. I've done it. We've all done it.
Doing that without hog ring pliers is going to be a real bear. You don't want to. You don't want to do that without hog ring pliers.
We're gonna set this up now so we can show you. Once that's done, you're pretty much connected all the way through the top. So you just have to yank down on the sides a little bit. You're gonna tuck your bottom section loop under. Another reason we didn't put the bottom cushion and foam back in is because it gives us access to tuck this under real easily.
Just makes it a little bit easier. You can do it without it there, but it's just a little bit easier to do when you get on the clearance.
Okay, so let's turn this thing around. Okay, so backside. Same thing here, guys. We've got a clip at the top that Brian already did at the beginning. We're going to have 2 on each side and then 3 on the bottom. And tuck in the top into the frame up here. So we're going to start with the middle clip. Brian, tell them how to pull.
When you're pulling, make sure you pull on the fabric instead of just yanking on the clip. So pull here to get your stretch, and you can pull it up, then you can lap that over the top there. So
fabric first, then roll the clip over. Good. Perfect. Okay. Spread them out because you're going to have 2 more that go into place right here later.
all right, so we'll flip this around and we'll get the bottom cover.
Oh, cool. All right, bottom cover going up.
All right, so first to do the bottom cover, we're going to feed the back flaps through the frame in between here, in between the top there. So We'll feed that through, and then we're gonna hook the foam. Let me show you on the underneath side of this real quick. This bar that's in the back here is gonna kind of sit in this channel here, and this part of the foam's gonna completely roll over the back of it. So it doesn't just glide right in. You have to kind of fish around with it to get it to go all the way around the back, to lap over that back of the frame there. So
so tuck the seat, and then you're gonna have to push up on the foam as much as you can to get it over the bar. Kind of push up and push in.
Flip this around and show the back of this this way. So we're gonna push in, because underneath you can get to the foam cushion. We'll push up on the foam and trying to push the cushion in as well.
Should be good. Let's take a look. We'll flip it up so we can show them. Okay. So this is what we're looking for here. We're looking for this bar to have the foam come and sit over the bar, because then it's going to be right in the channel that we took off earlier.
All right, then we'll just pull these clips down, hook them onto here.
Good deal.
Okay, perfect. Now the back's secure.
Okay.
We'll work our ways on the sides and do those clips.
Okay.
Show the side clip here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this got a little funky channel. There's a catch right here on the inside of that. That's going to hook underneath and catch on the underneath side of this frame part here. So it's really got to kind of roll all the way down in and inside of it. It's kind of funky. So we'll roll this clip like this. Roll it down. Missed it.
It may sound like it's going to be on there. Just wait for it to fully clip. You'll hear it, and then give it a tug. Make sure it's not going to easily come off. It's a tricky clip.
There it goes. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Give it a tug?
Yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. We'll flip to the other side and get that one done. Okay, same clip on this side. Brian will show you exactly how to lock it in on that side as well.
And again, just making sure that little ridge catches on the underneath side of this frame there. So if you think it's on, just look visually at the front and back and make sure it's all the way around that little ridge is catching on the other part of the metal. It's getting real close. I'm taking this little flat out and I kind of make sure it's pushed all the way underneath there. That side's in. This side's a little short. There we go.
And we're just making sure that it locks around the frame, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
That's
good
it.
deal.
Okay, so those are locked in.
Great.
Now move to the front one.
So the front channel, like we talked about earlier, is going to loop under itself and clip back up into the frame. We showed you where the tabs were on that hold it. So this one's going to be a lot of feel. You're going to have to just kind of roll it under with your hands. Kind of roll it under itself, and then give a little push down right here on the front section, so it gives you a little bit of room.
Flip this up, see if we can.
Okay.
Let's see if
All right, so we can show them a little bit.
Yeah, so this channel right here is going to line up and it's going to roll over. Over and then up.
Helps to push down on the foam, give yourself some room, and have a big muscular man like Brian doing it for you. That helps as well.
Get a little tricky. Here we go.
Good.
Okay.
Boy, that's a tricky one. Takes a few times.
There it is.
And you'll hear it pop in, and it won't go anywhere once it's in.
That's it.
Let's see if I can lock mine down a little bit more. All right, there we go.
There it is.
And you can kind of give it a couple good pushes, and you can hear it click in real well, and it'll be real tight across the front once done. You want to make sure that it's fully secure in there, because the first time you sit down, like we talked about earlier, you don't want it to pop undone and just be dangling. So,
all right, there's that. Okay. Next, we need to do headrest.
yeah, we'll do that.
Okay,
we'll do the headrest first, and then we'll put all the trim panels back on and be complete.
Okay, so for the headrest, you're going to be able to feel there's those two stumps that, you know, those little glides, those little slides that went down through it, these pieces here. So we're going to feel for the hole on the top. There we go.
This is it's a little bit scary cutting in any vinyl or leather, so What you also want to do if you're having trouble is pull your factory cover out. You see on the factory cover exactly where the holes are. Keep in mind our covers are cut exactly like factory, so you can kind of judge where the holes are, feel with your finger, and see where the hole is, and that way it'll make it a little easier for you to make the cuts.
Gotcha. We'll hop up top and come from the top down.
You sure? Okay. He's on the table, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. All right. So you'll be able to feel an indentation in it. You push down. There's definitely a hole.
Yep.
Okay.
You want to
Go
match
right
it
about
up right here. You can take a look as well right here.
Yeah,
You can
let's
see
see
exactly where the factory cover is. You can judge it by the seam as well. Kind of give you an idea.
Yeah, I'm feeling about right. Okay.
Feeling about the same?
Yep.
Good.
So when you take your scissors, don't do it with the blade open like that, because when it punctures in, if it goes through this, you risk this thing, puncturing through and busting a nick in there. So you can either do them closed or do one open, but grab it with one hand, where this blade's just hanging free. And I'm just gonna poke a hole right in the center. You think right about there.
Anything else they can use, Brian, in case they
You
don't
use a
have
little razor
scissors?
blade.
Okay.
Get you a good razor blade, and just want to get you a starting point right there. So then you can, once I get a little hole, I'll kind of trim a little bitty circle, and I'll just keep making it bigger. You can always cut more. That way I can get my finger through here and really feel underneath, even deeper down there. It looks like we're still good.
If you guys remember, here's the piece that's going in. So it's got a pretty hefty size head on it. So don't be afraid to make the cut a little bit bigger than you think, because it will be covered.
Yeah, you got a little room for air there. Okay, so now there's going to be the 1/2-inch foam that's underneath too, so we need to cut it out of the way too. So we'll pull this up through. And what I'll do is I'll pull the foam and stretch it out, and I'll kind of snip underneath some. Like that. There we go.
So kind of pull the foam out with your fingers and then use the scissors underneath. to
Yep,
cut it?
that's why you can get a little more
Cool.
foam cut out,
There we
so
go.
it's got a clearer window.
Gotcha.
Now we can kind of see where our hole is right there. So when I keep cutting, make the cut a little bigger, it looks like I need to come a little bit to the back, so I don't need to cut anything else forward.
Okay.
So now I can come here, trim the leather out a little bit more to the back. Clear out the foam on this side. Okay, perfect. Let me see one of those pegs.
Yeah, no problem.
All
How
right,
about this one?
there we go. That'll work. Okay, we're looking good. That's good.
Okay, and show them how it goes to the inside.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the push tab safety catch piece will face inside. At least this side will go here, so that'll go in there. I'll take the once we have one already in, I'll take my headrest, and I can get a real good idea of my spacing, because I know I'm going to be here. I'm just going to put my hole.
Let's turn it down so they can see the poles. There we go.
There we go.
Okay,
So I know my spacing is going to be right about there.
perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna make my little puncture, little nick right there. There we go.
Good part about that is installs. This is the only cuts that need to be made on this. There's no side cuts for any type of control panels. So it's a pretty simple install as far as the cuts go. Main thing Brian said is, obviously take your time, because scissors, you don't want to slip and cause any other scratches or cuts to your leather. That's the only really mess up you can have by doing these.
Alright, so I'm trying to think if this one's gonna face. It still faces out.
It's going to
doesn't
fade
it?
out. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go.
Good.
Get those lined
So
up.
once those are in, you just push down straight through the. Okay. Perfect.
There we
Lock
go.
them in.
Boom, and then the headdress will go right into those.
Perfect. Alright, so I'll lay this down so you guys can see. So we made both those cuts, put the two pieces in. Now the headrest, you don't have to touch anything. Just kind of push in, get those things locked in. push down, and then of course your adjustment will allow it to push down all the way. Then you're set on the headrest.
There we go. Perfect.
Once that's done, all we have left is put all the plastic pieces on all the way around. So we're just going to go backwards like we did before.
Just grab this one and throw that
Yeah,
piece
that
on,
thing too.
and then we'll put the flight. So we can put that on first with plastic.
We can do that one, and then we can wrap the plastic around too. So.
All right. Here.
Okay, now we played with this one before, and it helps if you hook it from the bottom. Is it the bottom or the top?
Bottom
Okay.
first, because this doesn't have any give, and this whole piece is lined with plastic, so it's not going to stretch at all to be able to stretch it and hook it on. But the bottom is this thing hooks on to this metal part here. These
got a little give.
bars. So these bars have a little give because they're spring loaded underneath. So we'll hook the bottom first. That way we can have some. It'll give us some leverage to pull,
Cool.
and they'll expand to get to the top.
So this mounts on the exact bar that we actually use the cover to mount on, just in different spots. So we'll get that locked in and we'll pull it up to tighten.
If you need to slide your tabs over from the bottom cover a little bit, that's fine. You can just they'll slide around on that bar.
Sorry, I'm trying to hold the seat too.
Yeah, there we go.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so now you've got them locked in. Set the seat down. Make sure it slides back and forth, so kind of get it level so you can put these two right in between. Clips right on.
And remember the top cover goes on the outside of that.
So the Velcro on the top cover is going to lock down right on top of your flap.
There we go.
We apologize that this is two-tone. It's actually came out of a different vehicle. It came out of a different colored vehicle, so we've got some tan and some grays, but don't worry about that. Just worry about the install. So we'll turn it back around now, and we'll get all the plastic pieces done. Now, first thing we're going to put on is the mounting channel. So this is going to go on the front with the two Phillips head screws on each side. It's first and foremost, so you can get everything pushed in from here. So push this up. Show you guys how this is done. Oh, hold on. I apologize.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's, backwards.
Perfect.
Cool.
There we go.
And if you guys could see what I just did, I had a little grease on my hand. When working with these frames underneath, it's always going to be nasty. Keep a rag on you, and keep in mind also, when you get done, you could also clean your leather afterwards. So don't worry if you get a little bit of grease on them. They'll clean right out. So two Phillips heads on each side. You don't need an impact right here or any type of air tools.
Yeah,
or
just hand tight's good.
Hand tight's good. Cool.
There we go.
All right, so once that's done, we're going to have our full piece that we took off. So we're going to start with the front, and if you can see, there's two channels right here and two channels on this side, so that's where these will pop right into.
Also, you get the wires coming out your side here for all your power connections. These pieces, make sure that they're not just way underneath or something haywire. Make sure that when you kind of get it up here, they're able to access. You can get them in. They'll come through here because they're going to come through here to plug in your control panel.
There you go.
So just make sure. You don't want to snap them all off and then one of them be tangled underneath or mashed underneath somewhere and you can't get to it. So,
Gotcha. So the same way we took this off, we're going to get these put in the channels and snap it right on. Just like we took it off, pulled it the same way. So get the channels in and snap them in.
get the screws on the side there.
Yep. Now, you can cut this underneath flap. That way you can actually access the screws because there's not going to be a pre-made hole right there.
You can should be able to feel where the hole is, or you can get a little poker you can stick through there.
Poker.
You can cut a slit through
Yeah,
that.
we'll just cut a slit
Yeah,
so
we
we
get
can-
you pull it out.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Now we got a little window in there.
Cut a little slit. That gives you a spot to put it in.
There we go.
Good there.
Okay, so we'll come back a little bit. Window.
These two
There we go.
right there. I just need to pull it up a little. Same thing. Just hand tools here. Get them tight.
You don't want to over torque it going into the plastic because you can risk breaking the plastic or tightening it down too hard and it'll weaken that spot.
Okay.
There we go. This one.
All right.
There's another screw here, but this one was missing a screw, so there's another one just right there. You'll run through, and the back's got one little push tab that lines up with the hole in the frame, and
Yeah, you'll see it.
once that's
Just
lined
get it
up,
locked
you
in.
There we
Hammer
go.
it in.
That's good.
Good to go.
That's it.
Okay, we'll put it up on its side so we can actually connect this back together. Okay, so we talked about this, how we took off the control panel. It's got the tab in the front. that's going to dive in first. So don't start with the back and then try to get the front end. You'll snap it. So we're going to go ahead and make our connections.
Is there a third wire? I thought I saw a
No,
third wire
not
was-
for this one. Yeah, it's further underneath side. We
Oh,
just,
okay.
it was just poking through.
Got it. Okay, so it's the floorboard.
Yep. All right. Let's make sure you secure those well.
Nose in
And
first.
then nose in first, like Brian said. Get that started right here. Once it's in good, it's basically just
Push the snaps right
pop
back
them in. They'll all snap into place and you'll be good to go.
All right, set this back on here. All we got left really to put the back.
Yeah, back panel. So the plastic piece that we showed you guys how to take off, we're going to now put on. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that these two are locked into place. They got to be seated in the right spot so they go through the frame. So once those are in, everything else is great. All you're going to do is just you're going to nosedive on the bottom like this and then snap it in at the top. Kind of feel and make sure you're going through where you need it to go. And then it's going to have a pop. Just a,
Maybe.
you got yours in? Hammer it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll lock in. You guys, you can feel it. You can pull on it. Remember how tough it was to put those in and pop them off. So once the bottom's seated, the top's in, you guys are set. Anything else on this one, Brian?
Should be it, man. We'll clean up the
Okay.
grease on the sides and we're good to go.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it very much.
Have a good one.
That one's going. Do you have the remote, Matt, for that one?
Yeah.
Do you have the remote for that one?
I gotta get all of them on for you.
I know. I was just practicing my clap. Matt, you know what? If you want to go home, okay? Gee willikers. I wish Matt would come in the video and say something profound and lovely.
Good.
And just set the world
Okay.
on fire. You know what I mean? Like Adele. Like Matt could just Adele this video. How from the sea channel.
No,
Yes, just
Like a head
yes.
up.
Hello, and then he comes like back here. He's like, it's the seat I'm looking for.
Did
Now
you
we're
get
talking.
an email from someone else?
Now we're talking.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Dude, that would be funny.
Alright, you guys good?
As good as we're gonna be.
Alright, man. Clapper.
Match on action.
Hi, welcome everybody. This is another installation video from the Seat Shop.